The Hoyt Public Library of Saginaw has serviced the community for nearly 130 years. This majestic structure and center of learning was a gift to the city by a prominent citizen and developer of Saginaw by the name of Jesse Hoyt. As early as the 1850s, he and his family were involved in Michigan's lumbering era, also establishing railroad services, banking, building construction, and salt manufacturing. All of his efforts contributing to Saginaw's early economic growth. When Mr. Hoyt died, August 12, 1882, among provisions in his will, he dedicated $100,000 to establish a library. He stipulated this gift be used for consultation and reference only, and the institution will always be known as the Hoyt Public Library. The design would feature a classic Romanesque exterior using large limestone blocks and red sandstone trim. The limestone blocks came from the Bayport Stone Company, which earlier had been established by Mr. Hoyt and his legal counsel, William L. Weber. After Mr. Hoyt's death, Mr. Weber became executor and trustee of all Mr. Hoyt's properties. Mr. Weber provided the limestone from the quarry for the construction of the Hoyt Library, which took nearly 3 years to complete. The Saginaw Evening News during these years oftentimes informed the citizenry of the progress being made. Mrs. Harriet Ames, the first librarian, is the accomplished lady engaged to select and catalog 16,000 books. The new library was opened to the public on November 1st, 1890. The entrance to the library was at the corner of Jefferson and Janes Avenue, which featured a large porch with decorated arches and columns of carved red sandstone. The wood interiors of the library were mostly of premium oak. The library had a main reading room, which featured a large fireplace. There were a number of meeting rooms, plus an administrative office and a book processing area. To the north of the building was a round-shaped room used as another reading room and also for exhibits. A beautiful oak staircase led from the vestibule to the second-floor lecture hall. For the next 30 years, the building's interior and the utilization of the library continued. In April of 1920, it was decided an addition to the library was needed to provide additional services. The plan for the new addition would cost $150,000. Contractors used the same building materials that were used for the original construction. The new addition included a large reference room on the east side of the library. The former main reading room now becomes the children's room. A new entrance was built on Janes Avenue to provide a more central access to the library. By the late 1950s, new plans called for an 11,000 square foot addition, plus a balcony in the reference room of the older building. The Bayport limestone was no longer available, so the trustees and the architects agreed to construct a more contemporary style addition using beige brick. A series of rounded arches framed the roof of this new addition and effectively linked it to the Romanesque arches of the existing building. This addition provided rooms for the processing department, business directors' offices, and a new reading area, plus an enlarged children's department. The old catalog room, now vacated, was remodeled to contain the Eddy Historical and Genealogical Collection, which was made possible through a gift of $25,000 from the C.K. Eddy Family Memorial Fund. This addition was completed in 1960. In 1976, plans again were in order for a much-needed renovation of the library's interior. Every area of the library was newly painted, from the basement to the attic. By the early 1990s, renovations on the second floor made it possible to showcase the Eddy Historical and Genealogical Collection. This $400,000 renovation also included electrical and mechanical improvements to the heating system, plus a humidity-controlled area for the valued historic materials. More than 100 men and women applied their skills to complete the total renovation of the library. Much of the oak woodwork, which had been painted, was stripped and restored to the natural wood grain look of the 1890s. A state-of-the-art computer training center was built to serve patrons and staff. The children's room was completely remodeled, and as a special feature, space was provided for 6 computer workstations, complete with children's-size furniture. As the new century arrived, the Hoyt Library quickly took advantage of new technology to serve the public with downloadable audio books and e-books. In 2010, to streamline the circulation process, radio frequency identification tags were placed on every item in the library's collection. Everyone now had instant access to full-text articles from magazines, including the National Geographic Archives and newspapers. In December of 2016, the Children's Department and Story Room were moved to the main floor. The Hoyt Library in 2017 was designated a Saginaw County Legal Self-Help Center. The library continues to be active in outreach to schools and the community at large.